Witam wszystkich, I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic today. I'm Mysticle and I'll be bringing you the latest in AR and VR news. However, just before we jump into this video, let me tell you guys about our sponsor. What if your next VR RPG actually made you feel like the anime protagonist? Well, this is Sword Reverie, and it's now out on Quest Early Access. Sword Reverie literally lets you swing, block, and launch elemental powers using your own movements. With over 16 skills, 10 swords, and 5+ hours of fully voiced campaign, this isn't just another VR hack and slash, it's a full-on anime-inspired adventure. What makes it even better is for Sword Reverie, you will need to use strategy, switch elements mid-battle, dodge and counter enemy attacks, as well as using the terrain to your advantage. You want to eat an enemy off a cliff? Go ahead and do so. Craft your loadout, explore massive maps, and combo your way through enemy encounters. Sword Reverie is available right now on both Steam and MetaQuest. And there's a limited time discount. And there's a 30% off creator promo code for early Quest players. For that, you'll have to check the link down in the description below where you'll find both the game and their Discord. So what are you guys waiting for? Get in on the action today and check out Sword Reverie down below. Thank you so much to Sword Reverie for sponsoring this one. As usual, you guys have chapters down below to skip to any specific part of this video, and with that being said, let's get right into it. First piece of information is we have a video showcasing the brand new stationary boundary that multiple of you in the comments have been telling me you have now also started receiving. Reading from Mixed News, Meta has simplified the boundary system with an update that makes everyday VR use much more convenient. The boundary improvements were first announced in V69 in September of 2024 and reappeared in the release notes for V72. It makes everyday use of seated and standing VR much easier. The new boundary system automatically creates a sufficiently large stationary boundary. When I leave the area, the environment is gently faded in via pass-through. If I want to continue using VR at another location in the room, I can simply go there, and the system will ask me if I want to create a new fixed boundary at that location. The old boundary and the exit from it are visualized in a new, neat manner. So yeah, a bunch of people have been noticing this, but Meta does like to introduce these features at different times for people. So let me know if you have it down below. Last video, we briefly spoke about the Navigator OS. We don't have much information on this brand new system UI for the Quest, but what we do have comes from Luna. I also noticed that quite a few of you loved it in the comment section, and quite a few of you actually didn't like it very much, which is understandable, especially since some of you compared it to a cheap Android tablet. As long as it's easier and better to use than the current Quest operating system, I don't think I'm gonna hate too much on the actual theme of the thing. Either way though, Luna has gotten us more information, as other panel options referenced in the OS may ship alongside Navigator. Navigator is set to ship V77 Plus, by the way. Pin a window to a specific virtual or physical location, so this would allow you to pin a window to a specific location in space and leave it there as you walk away. You could argue we technically already have that, but this would work alongside Move With You. Keep window in your view as you move. So you would be able to pin a window, especially to your space, your very own person, and as you move around, that window would move with you. Currently, the only way to do that is to essentially grab the window and pull it alongside the space with you. Not the very best. And then of course we've got Share. Share's a panel so that others in your world can see it. We spoke about this one previous video, but this would essentially allow other people inside your Horizon home to view 2D windows that you are using. So that's really, really cool. Not entirely sure how they're gonna get that working with, say, third-party unknown apps, because with other apps, of course, you can just have the other user install it, but maybe it just won't work with unknown apps, at least not at the beginning. Okay, here's something really cool that Meta researchers have been working on. Recently, I've been seeing more posts telling me that they're not quite satisfied with the Quest home environments, asking why are they so simple, and why can we not create something a bit more advanced? Well, first of all, you can have custom home environments, but Meta researchers have been working on turning single images into 3D home environments for VR headsets. How cool would that be? Being able to take a single image and having a computer reconstruct it into a home environment, or maybe not even a computer, the headset itself. A team of researchers at Reality Labs wants to make this vision a reality and presents a new approach to make it happen. Although existing generative AI models can create videos from a single image, they have difficulty generating fully immersive scenes, according to the research paper published last week. The pipeline developed by the researchers is set to outperform state-of-the-art video synthesis-based methods along multiple quantitative image quality metrics, while requiring minimal training effort and running on existing generative models. To quote, "Our key insight is that the task of generating a 3D environment from a single image, which is inherently complex and ambiguous, can be decomposed into a series of more manageable sub-problems, each of which can be addressed with existing techniques," writes the research team. I don't think that this is going to come anytime soon, but please do surprise me, as I do have a lot of images I would actually like to turn into 3D models. And I'm not the best with 3D modeling. If you guys remember our VR chat world back in the day, I have tried 3D modeling worlds since, and it hasn't been the best. 3D modeling for 3D printers is a different story, however. So, Quest Camera API has been out for a while now, and developers all across the globe have been playing around with it. I've seen some really cool use cases for this technology on Reddit per se, and I just want to share one of these with you because I think it greatly shows Quest Camera API can improve the way we see augmented reality, for example. From PJ Chard T, "I've been interested in messing around with overlap between real and virtual since undergrad. This was a first test of the new camera API for Quest headsets. Pretty cool to turn off lights in the room and a virtual object responds." So in the video, we can see that when they turn off the light, the globe floating in the middle also stops reflecting light, which is really cool and just makes the entire thing seem a lot more in the space, if you know what I mean. Because if you turned off the light and the light was still on the globe, well, then that kind of takes you out of the immersive experience. Here, not only does it respond to light, but it also seems that the reflection on the globe is coming from where the light is in the real world. Because of course, with the camera API, the Quest knows where that light is, essentially allowing real-world reflections. Not just that, it also allows for dimming. So just one really cool use case for the technology in, say, augmented reality, where lighting should make the augmented reality objects a lot more realistic. Thank you so much for sharing. I think this is really, really cool. And of course, links are down below in case you guys want to get in on the post. This is quite a funny one, as the UK is now apparently measuring their inflation by using VR headset prices. The UK's Office of National Statistics, ONS, takes into account the prices of many hundreds of goods and services to calculate the national inflation rate. Now, one such good is VR headsets, the BBC reports. Okay, that makes sense. If they're going to be using multiple different goods and services, adding VR headsets to that chart isn't as surprising as it might originally seem. The ONS says the collection of goods it includes shows how consumer spending has evolved over the years, and that the inclusion of VR shows our appetite for emerging technology. Yeah, I guess that does make sense. I mean, emerging technology, more and more companies are jumping into it, especially now with the Vision Pro existing, showing consumers that, hey, this isn't really a gimmick anymore. You can buy it from these large companies that make smartphones, which are devices that you use on a daily basis, especially with cheaper devices existing like the Meta Quest. Vivo, a large smartphone company, I would say. I don't think they just make smartphones. I think they make a bunch of things, but I know them very well for smartphones. Apparently created their own VR headset, but let's just say they didn't change the homework very much, as this thing looks like a Vision Pro clone. Now, there are a few changes, so if Vivo wanted to release in the US and the EU, maybe copyright law wouldn't necessarily be infringing on much here. But let's be honest, people could definitely mistake this for a Vision Pro, and they've even copied the name. Okay, maybe not outright copied, but definitely taken inspiration. Is that a bad thing? The Vision Pro is a beautiful device, and if this thing has specs anywhere close to it for a lower price, well, people would definitely be interested. Maybe not even just for a lower price. If this thing had specs comparable to a Quest 3 and a price comparable to a Quest 3, people would still be interested, I would say. Now, that does depend on a bunch of different factors. Of course, as I mentioned, specs, but more importantly, operating system. This thing does seem to be standalone, as we can tell by the tethered battery that is connected to it. And of course, whether it's going to have controllers or not. We don't have any outright specs on the device yet, but Vivo is saying they're planning to launch mid-2025. So maybe soon we will be seeing some more information. Let me know what you think about this one down below, and what would the price and specs need to be for you to be interested. Talking about cheaper devices, the Pico 4 was one such device, and actually is one such device that you can buy that is a probably direct competitor to the Quest 2, and is now in its Ultra variant supposed to get a free window positioning update, 3D recording, 3D photo conversion, and more. The update arrives around 6 months after the launch of the Pico 4 Ultra and greatly enhances its spatial computing capabilities. ByteDance's Pico 4 Ultra is arguably the only direct competitor to the Quest 3 and the only other headset on the market to use the Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 chipset. So about window positioning, now with Pico OS 5.13.0, this restriction of being able to move windows only around a 360 degrees bubble is gone. As with Vision OS and Horizon OS, you can freely position windows exactly where you want them, including adjusting their distance. The Pico 4 Ultra can now convert any image in your gallery into a 3D image, including batch conversion of many at once. The Vision Pro got this feature in Vision OS 2 in September. Pico OS 5.13.0 also adds the ability to view spatial photos taken on the iPhone 16, something currently only possible with the Vision Pro. And 3D screen recording. Pico OS 5.13.0 adds the ability for the Pico 4 Ultra to record your screen in 3D. The headset could already capture 3D videos from the pass-through cameras, but it now includes VR and mixed reality objects and interfaces. This is a unique and interesting feature that we haven't seen on any other headset. This new OS adds the ability to override key graphics and performance options normally set by each app via a new app called Performance Tuner. This includes the screen refresh rate, render resolution, CPU and GPU levels, fixed foveated rendering, and more. As well as that, we've also received improved pass-through and hand tracking and improved motion tracker body tracking. So for anyone that is using the Pico 4 Ultra, this is a very nice update that you should be receiving soon if you have not yet already. Talking about the Vision Pro, WWDC now has a date. June 9th is the date we will supposedly be seeing a feature-packed version of Vision OS 3, as reported by Mark Gurman from Bloomberg. So this makes perfect sense. It is a full release, it's not an incremental release. Vision OS 3 will hopefully have some brand new features, and I, for one, even though I don't have a Vision Pro, I'm quite excited to see what Apple adds in this one, because we've been seeing it, guys. The Quest operating system has definitely taken some inspiration from Vision Pro features now. You could argue that they have been working on these features before the Vision Pro launched, but let's just say the Vision Pro definitely sped up these features' release. So there you guys go. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. If you liked it, please leave a like. If you disliked it, I guess this part works too, but let me know why down below. If you're not yet part of our community, check out our Discord and our Reddit down below, or I want to see you posting your spice beams. And thank you so much to the Patreons supporting this channel. You guys are what makes these videos possible. So thank you to the Patreons, and thank you to anyone else supporting the channel. Seriously, much love. And if you want to be notified of which content coming up on the channel, make sure to smack that subscribe button with your forehead, ding my bell, and see you again in the next video. Peace. I'm being spammed. I'm being spammed on Telegram. Oh, look at that. Look in the top left right there. What the actual... What does that mean? Anyway, I fixed the shutter speed since some people were quite angered by it. I do apologize. I took apart this camera to take out a loose screw, and it like reset all the settings, so that's very, very nice. This is the second time I'm actually recording this. First time I recorded on the camera but forgot to record on the microphone. This is what I get for having two separate devices.